Victoria, and today's video is going to be this makeup look, and I absolutely love this look. I typically go with brighter lip colors, so to go with a nude kind of like this, it's a bit different, but that's the fun thing about makeup. I ended up getting this for free from Sephora just like for my birthday month, and I used this in the blush that I got. So I don't know, I just kind of came up with this look. I do this look quite a bit. I'm a college student. I don't wear makeup that much, but whenever I do, I really like to keep things really simple. So if you want to see how I did this look, just keep on watching. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So I'm going to start off with the Benefit Professional, and I love starting off with the primer. I do have pores around here and my nose and here, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a decent amount on my finger. I like to start around here first, in my nose, and a little bit around my forehead, so just wherever your problem areas are. Now that I'm all primed, I'm going in with my foundation, and this is just the L'Oreal True Match. I'm going over the two shades because I just can't seem to get the right shade color. I am mixing C2 and C3 at the back of my hand, and I'm going to use a foundation brush to apply that to my face. I just like to focus it around kind of where I ended up putting the primer. Because whenever you blend it out, you can kind of blend out from where you need the most coverage to the kind of edges of your face where you really don't need much coverage. Now that I look like a weirdo, I'm just going to use my beauty blender, and I'm going to go ahead and blend this out. I love this foundation. I have used it for years now. I think it has great coverage. It's cheap and from the drugstore. Who does not love that? Now that I am all nice and blended, it is time to go ahead and do under eye concealer. So I'm just going in with the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. I just apply this to the corner right here, underneath, and kind of like a V, like that, and then onto the eyelid because I have kind of like red, veiny, gross eyelids. Now I'm just going back in with the Beauty Blender, and this is actually a Real Technique sponge. I honestly think it is such a great dupe for the Beauty Blender. It blends out so quickly, and I want to say it's half the price of a real beauty blender. I want to say maybe like one sponge is either like $6 or $10, but a beauty blender is $20 for a sponge. What I like to do is I like to have it pretty blended out, and then I get my powder, which is the Rimmel Stay Matte, and then I take this Real Techniques brush. It came in a brush set with a couple of others. This is just the buffing brush. So what I do is I go ahead and I fill up my brush with my powder, tap off the excess. And whenever you're setting your under eyes, you want to be very careful to make sure that they don't crease. So I like to go back, pat, keep your eyes up, and then you want to pat on the powder. You don't really want to swipe the powder because all that's going to do is disrupt the concealer that you already have. So whenever you are putting on powder over foundation or over concealer or anything like that, you always want to do a patting technique. So I'm going to do that on both eyes to make sure that my under eye concealer is set. Once I think that I've set it, I do kind of go and swipe just a little bit to kind of smooth everything out. I think that is nice and good. Now we're ready to go on and set the rest of my face, and I'm going to be using the same powder, but I'm also going to be using another Real Techniques brush. Real Technique brushes are awesome, and this is just the blush brush, but I actually use it to set my whole face. So what I do, I just go and I blend it out. And what I do with this brush is I like to fill it up, tap off the excess, and then once again, I just go ahead and I pat on the powder. And then after the powder is pat on, I go ahead and I start doing circular motions just to kind of buff it off, and I do add more powder to my brush whenever I do this just to make sure that I really am set. And I just continue doing that to the rest of my face. Pat the powder on, and then I buff it out. And you always want to make sure that you blend down your chin, and borders are always very important to make sure you get the sides of your face and everything, because I hate, like, I have to make sure my face is super set. Some people don't even set their face, and I don't know how they do it, but I have to set my face. Okay, so now that my face is nice and set, I'm going to go ahead and fill in my eyebrow. I'm just going to use the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. I'm using the shade Dark Side. I just go ahead and brush out my brow. Once I like how they're brushed, I'm going to go ahead and take this on this tiny little like detailer brush that I got in the same brush set. I like to start on the outside and just kind of fill it in. Now this is the tricky eyebrow because I have like a little gap, if you can see that. And then I just like to brush out through them really quick. And there we go, brows are done. To my brows, I like to go ahead and move in with the like contouring and everything. So first I'm gonna start off with a Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil Matte Bronzer. And this is the light medium to matte bronzer. I used to use the Hoola, and I'm also going to be using the Hoola today. But I like using this just kind of like as a base. Honestly, I'm not too great at this. I just kind of like wing it, honestly. And then I am going to repeat that on the other side. And also I'm going to go on my temples and forehead just a little bit. I like to do that first because I think it just kind of helps define me a bit more than the Hoola one. And since I'm not quite as tan, I don't want to go all in with Hoola because Hoola is a bit darker for me. Now I am just taking this Real Techniques. It's just like the same brush that I use to apply the powder for my under eyes. And I just use that to blend. I think it's a great blending brush. So I now am going to go ahead and go in with the Hoola bronzer from Benefit just because, I don't know, it just makes me look a bit more bronzed. I just like the look of it. And I don't go super crazy. I just like go right on top of where it went before. I just love this color. It is a bit more orange, but I still love it. I think it just gives a nice healthy look. So that does look a bit harsh. I'm just going to keep blending with this brush, and there's nothing on it. Okay, now that I have some nice dimension to my face, I'm going to be taking the Too Faced Sweet Peach Glow palette. I love this palette, and I'm still not done. I'm taking this bronzer, and this is actually more of a bronzer. Those were more like contours. This is a bit more of a bronzer, and I'm going to take the blush brush that I use to set my face, and I am just going to kind of put this kind of around the same areas that I did before, but this is going to make more of like a bronzy look. So I just like to smile, put this here, and go a bit around here, and it just gives more color to my face, and that is pretty important for me. Since today's lip is a very nude color, I want to make sure I have a lot of color to my face. Okie dokie, next I'm going to go ahead and go in with blush, and this is the Tarte blush in Party. I typically go with more peachy coral color, so this is a bit different for me. And then I'm just going to blend it out with that same blending brush I've been using the whole video. I just love this brush. It is so good at blending everything out. Next, the last part that I kind of like to do for my face, I like to use the Hoola for this. I don't snatch my nose like crazy, but it is nice just to give a little bit of dimension to my nose, so I very quickly and carefully, I just take, this is actually a crease brush for your eyeshadow from Real Techniques, and I just go very like carefully a little bit on each side. Like I'm barely even touching my nose when I do this, because I don't like how I don't like how nose contour looks on me, but I do have to do just a tiny bit. And then I also like to do, and even if I'm not doing eyeshadow, and even if I'm doing eyeshadow, I now do this, I take the same Benefit Hoola bronzer and I use it on my crease. I love using bronzer for your crease just because I think it's just such a natural look. And even if you do want to go in with eyeshadow, it's just a great like crease, just kind of like a neutral and natural crease color. Honestly, you're pretty much done for eyeshadow. I typically just pop a darker color in the corner. So we are now done with the face. No, we're not done with the face. Of course, I have to go ahead and highlight, and I'm so upset. I'm going to use the same highlighter that comes in the Sweet Peach palette, but I'm so upset because I was making sure that I did not leave my Becca highlighter. Of course, everyone has, you know, all girls love their Becca highlighter. I was making sure not to leave it. By the way, this is the Real Techniques medium shadow brush. I know, I don't use brushes for what they're for, and I just put this right here. Can you see that? I think I left my Becca highlighter in my dorm, and that was one of the things where I was like, Victoria, you know you're gonna want it, don't forget it. And I also go a little bit on my nose. I don't go super crazy with the highlighter. I know some people go to town, but I don't go too crazy. we are actually almost done with this look. Now all I'm going to do for eyeshadow is I am going to go ahead and take Black Heart from the Naked 3 palette. Just take really any darker brown, or just a darker color than what you used for your crease. And all I'm going to do is just put this on the outer V just to kind of darken everything up a bit. And I am not very good at eyeshadow, and I don't know, I don't really go too crazy with eyeshadow. I don't do it often. I typically just don't have time for it. So I used that same little brush just to apply it, and I know that looks crazy. But now I'm going to be taking the same medium shadow brush that I used to apply my highlighter, and I'm just going to kind of rub off some of the highlighter. And I just use that to really blend it out. And now I'm just going to finish off with mascara, and I'm going to be using the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I love this mascara. I think it is so good. Everyone used to use this and rave about it, and I finally got my hands on it. And we are almost done with this look. This look is just so easy. And now I'm just going to finish off with the Tarte Tartiest Lip Paint. And that is it, guys. If you really enjoyed the video, please make sure to give it a big old thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. And thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys!